Sorry. I just went down a pretty nerdy rabbit hole. Sorry about that. Sorry. I'm clearly wasting your time.
I want to see Andy. I want to see Andy on a podcast or listen to him.
This is Car Con Carne.
Shut up.
But when you do talk, put the microphone up to your mouth when we get there. This is Car Con Carne, a Key 101 podcast presented by Alex Ross Art. Alex Ross is one of the all-time greats in comics and graphic novels. You've seen his stuff. You've seen his stuff in the mainstream, and certainly if you've ever picked up a comic book or one of his legendary titles like Marvels or Kingdom Come, you know that his photorealistic style is untouched. He is the best. Here's Alex Ross.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
So I'm teaming up with the American Lung Association to help them save lives. I have committed with a team. Well, the team's not assembled yet. That's where you come in. I've committed to climbing the steps at Soldier Field for the Fight for Air climb. Dude, people of all ages and fitness levels climb the stairs to raise awareness and money to end lung disease. These are not role models, but they're awesome. They're the tossers. I hope you'll join me and help because when you can't breathe, nothing else matters. The Chicago Fight for Air climb presented by United Healthcare, Sunday, May 19th at Soldier Field. We're going to do this. We're going to do this as a team. We need your donation money. Donate to fightforairclimb.org/Chicagoland. Enter the code CARNE, C-A-R-N-E, at checkout for $10 off. I will see you on the stairs. Finally, tossers. A smart home connects virtually all the technology in your home. With an easy automation installed smart home system, you and your family can control nearly every device and system in the house in ways that are easy and fun to use. Transform your living space with cutting-edge home automation. Experience seamless control over audio, video, lighting, climate, security, and more. Embrace the future of smart living. Your home, your rules, motherfucker. Get a quote. Just making sure I'm not boring you. Get a quote by visiting easy-automation.net or call Dan. Call my guy Dan, 630-730-3728. You couldn't say that back in the radio days, but that's the beauty of podcasting, right?
Yeah.
You can get away with that stuff. All right, I am joined by the tossers. It's that time of year. I've been waiting to say this forever. This is Con Blarney with the tossers. I've got Mike, Tony, and Aaron of the tossers joining me. Did you put the accordion away?
It's right behind us.
Can you? Oh, it's too far. I wanted to show that. It's so cool looking to me.
Grab it. Yeah, grab it.
Oh,
yeah.
I'll get it.
Come on, Andy.
I feel like this accordion has a story.
Don't they all?
I guess this looks like a well-traveled instrument.
Well, it's been beat to hell, but
Look at that.
it's a lot of tape holding it together. Yeah. There's no real story behind it. But
Well, the story of every song that's ever been played on it is behind it. You know, Tom Waits. What was it? Tom Waits said he was doing a movie with who was the Irish guy? I can't think of his name. He was like a real handsome guy. Colin Farrell.
Oh, yeah.
He was doing the 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag with Colin Farrell. And you know, the preparation for a film, he had to like pick a pen. So Colin Farrell, they put pens out for him to choose the one that he thought represented his character. And Tom Waits says, make sure you pick the right pen because it has a lot of stories in it. You know?
And so goes the accordion. The Tossers, the annual return of the Tossers, the St. Patrick's Day celebration at Metro. It is happening on the 16th. It is Scott Lucas and the Married Men opening up. They are gathering their forces back together for this. Also on the bill, Totally Cashed and the Chancers. You, the Tossers, recently enough celebrated your 30th year of creating influential Celtic punk greatness. That's no small feat to hold it together for that long.
That
No.
was last year.
That was last St. Patrick's Day was.
No, it isn't any small feat. I remember Johnny Ramone saying, like, when you're in the middle of it, it's a lot of hard work, but like when you're at the end, which we are far from, it's another story. But yeah, I mean, you got to appreciate like what you like. It didn't seem like work, It's music. We're making music. We're enjoying ourselves. We're having fun.
Well, speaking of making music, we're at Million Yen Studios, one of the Chicago's premier recording spaces. The fact that you're here, what does this mean? Are you just practicing, or are you actually recording some stuff?
No, well, today we're just rehearsing.
Okay.
Today we're just rehearsing, but we're working with Andy and
Andy Gerber of Million Yen.
Gerber and Million Yen since 2004.
Andy's the best.
Yeah. So once we never left.
I actually moved in for a while.
Moved into the studio.
I lived upstairs with that.
Did you
guy
really?
over there. Yeah, for I don't know, maybe a year or so. Yeah.
Just easier that way?
It actually was. We recorded the second record with Victory here, and he'd come up every night and be like, "Here you go. Here's what's been done today."
Well,
So I was always on the ball.
Andy is the only one that I'm not speaking for us, I'm speaking for me, but Andy's the only one that we have recorded with that to me seemed like easygoing, natural. Everybody else, it was like work or do this, do that. With Andy, it's like kind of like he's like part of it, part of what we're doing.
He knows where the music should. He knows what the music should sound like and where it should go and stuff like that. And so it was really.
Well, we never recorded anywhere else. Once you go Andy, you never go Randy.
That's what they say. I read that on the bathroom wall. Let's talk a little bit about
At Million Yen Studios.
Let's talk about Sonics, about the music you make, this Celtic punk music. Obviously, this was a part of growing up. This was in your DNA. These kind of working class vibes. Tell me about growing up and deciding to push this music forward in your own way.
Yeah, I mean, working class vibes, that is, I mean, we come from that. Well, none of us were rich by any means. And as a matter of fact, there were very many of us that were very poor. Some of us, like, saw, music as all we could do, the only way out,
Like playing football in high school in Texas.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. It was an idea, heavily influenced. I was never really into, like, as a young man, like as a teenager, I wasn't into country music, Irish music, none of that. I was into metal like every other kid my age, or punk, and then eventually punk and reggae and all that. And then, I heard the Pogues, and it, a light switch.
That was it. That was all you needed to hear.
Well, yeah, it really was. I understand it. I can do. This makes more sense. I was listening at the time, remember, to the Dead Kennedys, old Fear, old punk and hardcore bands. And I was like, I was into that, but there wasn't any, any vulnerability in any of that. There wasn't any, it was a hard stance at life. And there's more to life than just that, And then, well, this I understand. And I know now by talking to therapists and shit that I'm just trying to impress my parents by doing this.
Has it worked?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, they love it.
Mission accomplished.
They are very proud of what we're doing. My mom and my dad, they are very proud. And, it was always in the back of my mind that, I just want to make people happy. I just want people to have fun,
Again, mission accomplished. St. Patrick's Day celebration at Metro with the Tossers headlining. I feel like getting you together in this space, in Million Yen Studios, the palatial Million Yen Studios on the northwest side of Chicago, I feel like that is hard enough. I'd imagine it's even harder to keep you guys, for you guys to figure out how to get together and write songs, record, rehearse.
Oh, it's impossible. It's impossible.
We're not like a real band, we don't
What does that mean?
that people show up on time and stuff.
We have scheduled rehearsals. It takes.
I wish we could turn the camera around.
If I could show you the text just to get us here today, the chain of it was like 12 hours
Yeah.
of nonsense. Oh, what's this one?
What's this? This is a sign that's hanging up in the studio. Les Jaw.
You have to turn it towards the
Oh,
camera.
that's the camera.
This sign was built in 2005 when we first started recording here. And Andy kept telling us, less jaw, more paw.
Yes.
What does more paw mean? More.
Get to work. Come on. Quit yapping.
It's not a folksy way to refer to a father or.
Well, because also, we don't rehearse a lot. We hadn't seen each other in a while.
So we sit in the kitchen and drink and
So we kind of yap a lot.
We
just enjoy hanging out together.
But yeah, no, it's a pain in the ass to get 6 people together, and the other day it was 12 hours. To literally get a rehearsal to find out. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come.
Yeah.
After we finished, one of the people responded later that night. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's why we're here today, because they couldn't do the one from.
Yeah, we were going to
other
rehearse last Wednesday, and it fell through, and so we're making it up tonight.
Yeah, but not only that.
Because we knew we'd have 3 people together.
Yeah.
See if we can get the rest of them in.
Yeah, you got 50%. That's a solid start.
So far, so good.
Never do a 6-person band. It's insane.
Because next thing you know, you're together for 31 years.
Andy always said it was like herding cats.
Yes.
Especially in this day and age, too, because a lot of us have wives, husband, and, kids, so it's, our interests are all over the place.
Sure.
That's for sure. But, the one interest that we all individually, each member of the group has, is that we love this and we keep coming back.
Is that the secret? Is that why you're still here 31 years later?
It has to be.
Well, there's mental illness, too. I mean, there's insanity. Some of it, but,
and we're actually friends. Everybody is actually friends. It's
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's become
That
a
helps.
family of itself. And
I'm sure.
When we talk about practice and things like that, I think the 3 of us, we were the longest running guys in the band. So we probably don't need the practice nearly as much as the new guys.
I'll never forget our very first owner, our very first record label owner. He says, he comes to me one day, he says, T, I think we could really do some great things. Why don't you ditch the rest of these guys?
No way.
Let's do something.
Oh, I remember that. That was our manager.
That's what happened to Greg Brady.
It was frickin' Zach.
That's exactly what happened to Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Really?
They tried to pull him out of the Bradys and make him a star.
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo. That's exactly right.
On the show.
Yeah, you got bravoed.
Yeah, I got bravo. Yeah, well, I didn't get it.
Then he made you
bow
do
for
a
that.
solo record. That's how he met Andy.
Yeah.
Zach made you do a solo record.
Oh, that is how we met Andy. That was the first record we did here.
So for T's solo band, he hired the Tossers to back him for his solo
That's
band.
perfect. That is perfect.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
So,
So if
31
you buy
years
T's solo record, it's basically a Tossers record.
It is.
Yeah.
by another name.
Yeah.
So 31 years into it, that is a prolonged, sustained attack on your collective livers.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it.
I mean, it's...
Well, I can tell you, yeah, I mean, that's always been a part of the culture. That it's part of Irish culture. It's part of Irish American culture. Seeing music, you know. You go to any pub and you see that, you know. Also, you know, I don't really. I've always been like sharp enough to never go too far. You know.
Yeah, you know what that line is.
Well, I've crossed that line plenty of times. You know.
But you're aware of it. You're aware the line is there somewhere.
Yeah, you know what? I have.
He's a habitual line stepper.
I have all.
You've heard of the line.
Yeah, no, I've heard of this line.
He's walked the line. He's walked the over line. He's slept on the line.
Over the line, yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I've always known the line was there. Sometimes I've done better. Sometimes I've done, you know, not so good. But you know, the best interest is is my health and the group. You know, none of us are maniacs. If you maybe like through the music, it seems like it could be like that. You know. But it isn't.
But it really isn't. I mean,
if the stories were all true, we would be dead.
True.
You know, at this point. So anything in moderation, they say.
Real quick, I'm going to read what they call a mid-roll in the business. It's a mid-roll ad, so hang out, have another beverage. So I'm teaming up with the American Lung Association. We're going to help them save lives. I've committed to taking the steps at Soldier Field. No matter what your age, no matter what your health situation is, you can participate. You can join my team. Join my team. Come on, let's put a team together. Like the Avengers, let's take on Soldier Field. The Chicago Fight for Air Climb presented by United Healthcare. Sunday, May 19th, easy for me to say. The weather will be nicer. Let's do this. Let's help people who have lung disease, who are suffering from any number of lung diseases and issues that are out there. fightforairclimb.org/Chicagoland. Back to the Tossers. Do you guys feel like you get enough credit for being part of the evolution of Celtic punk rock?
Yeah, shut your phone off.
That sounds like a phone from 1940. I love the ringtone.
Do you edit these?
I don't want to.
Then you don't have to.
Yeah. That's so. There are podcasters. This is a question that plagues people who do this sort of thing. There are people who will meticulously go into the audio, remove every breath, every whatever. I don't know that for any podcaster, I don't know if the return is there to spend like that much time editing audio for, most podcasts might get 80 listens an episode for the first few years.
I guess truly my question was, were you embarrassed by that? Because I wasn't.
Oh, no. and again, we were talking about radio. This is the difference between podcasting and when I did radio. Like we're in a recording studio and there's nothing formal about this. We set up in between the drums and the bass amps and here we are. That's fine. It's all good. Right. So back to the question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get enough credit for the evolution of Celtic punk rock or Celtic music in punk rock?
I don't think we did it for credit.
We didn't.
Certainly you didn't do it for credit, but do you feel like...
I don't think we need.
I don't think we're part of that. I don't think that we're part of that scene, really. I mean, we are, but that, none of that existed when we started, you know?
And hence the question.
Or if it did, we didn't know about it.
Celtic punk rock?
Or Celtic music as you've come to define it, as subsequent bands.
I mean, like the Pogues were doing it, the Dubliners were. I don't think that is our credit to take, really.
I'm not saying sole credit, but I'm just wondering if you feel like your place, if you feel like.
Well, yeah, you know what I've been asked. I have been asked before, do I feel like people have passed us up, in the scene or whatever. Which, and like I said, I don't really feel like that we were ever really a part of it. There was no scene, when we started.
And isn't it a situation like if the Dropkick Murphys do well, like the cliche of a rising tide lifts all boats, it's
I agree
good
with
for
that.
everyone.
Yeah, I've always felt that way. I mean, the more exposure they get, then I've always heard there's that age-old question of like, what's your favorite band, the Beatles or the Stones, and the correct answer is the Kinks.
Oh hell yeah!
And so there's that in the Dropkick flogging Molly.
You have never heard Think Visual.
What's that?
You have never heard Think Visual, the Kinks album from 1986. It's terrible.
Not all of the Kinks. I mean.
And with all those bands, with those other two bands, we're friends with.
Yeah,
we all work together, so it does.
Like eventually we cross paths, and I love the Dropkick Murphys, and I love Flogging Molly.
Yeah.
That's implying that like we're part of this scene, and we are. But it wasn't any.
I think to a fan or a listener, it's easy to group you.
Sure, of course, and we should be, but we should be grouped in with them. But but that wasn't any of our intention when the way we started. You
were just playing music that was authentic to what you knew and wanted to play.
Yeah, literally, like I heard a Pogues record. And the only band in Chicago at the time was the Drovers.
Sure.
Really, I heard Rum Sodomy and the Lash in I don't know what year, 80 something, and like I could do this, and I just started kind of writing songs like that. It was a minute before like I asked other people to do it with me, which was, the rest of the dudes, but it was pretty natural, There wasn't. I can tell you this. I really didn't even think we would ever do anything. It was really just gonna like I was very young when we started. I was like 17, 18 years old, and it was really just to get into bars, like to start with. And then we started writing songs, and that was cool. And it kind of just caught on. It kind of just caught on,
How important of a role does the city of Chicago play in Tosser's history, whether it's influencing the songs you write, the things you do? I mean, obviously, the Metro show is a big, important annual event for Tossers. Talk about the city as it relates to the Tossers.
First, let me say this in the same swath as the last thing I was saying is that the influences that I had when we were doing that, when we were just like playing music together, were very profound. The music that I was listening to was, of course, Shane MacGowan, the Pogues, the Dubliners, the Clancy Brothers, Christy Moore, Sinead O'Connor. That was what I was hearing at the time, and it affected me deeply. So it wasn't only just trying to get into bars and playing. It was like I wanted to make songs that made people feel good, As far as
Chicago?
Yeah. I mean, it influences, it's where we are. It influences everything we do. I mean, it's no secret that Chicago is the biggest group of Irish people, I don't know, this side of the whatever, you know what I mean? And like I said before, I know it's deep in my conscience that I want to please our parents. I wanted to do something that they would be proud of me for, So that's all a big part of it, This city is where we came from, and every aspect of it. It's the kind of thing that, from 1,000 years before, everything your ancestors did brought you to this point. Now, what are you going to do with it,
All right, so St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Yes.
It is the return of the Tossers to the live stage, headlining Metro, as it should be. St. Patrick's Day celebration at Metro. Tossers headlining, also Scott Lucas and the Married Men. Yep. That's a must-see. They don't do it that often. Totally Cash and the Chancers, all one night. A bargain at any price. I am thrilled to see you guys still doing what you do
Thank you.
decades and decades later.
And you as well.
Yeah, right. I know, right?
Fair. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks for having us, James.
Yeah.
Of course,
James, I swear we were on XRT with you once. I swear we were.
I was on XRT for about 5 minutes in the grand timeline of XRT. I was on there for like 9 months. You may be confusing me with Richard Milne, who's a delightful guy. He did-
No. No, I
no.
know Richard. Maybe we shook hands or something.
That could be. That could be. I also want to say one more time, fight for air climb, fightforairclimb.org/Chicagoland. The Tossers, I love you guys. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much for doing this.
Thanks a
We
lot,
appreciate
James.
it.